Transurfer and the Transurfing Curious. My name is Renee Garcia, guys, and this is TransurfingTV, y'all. And today on TransurfingTV, oh my god. So, okay, first off, I'm going to be giving a lesson from an idea, a system that one of you created, Eric Jackson. I'm going to give you a huge shout out here because you've been awesome, man. He's hit that applaud button down below a number of times. I didn't even understand what it was at first. I was like, wait, I don't understand. Somebody's sending me money? This is awesome. So thank you so much. Not only have you contributed to ITI and Transurfing TV, but you're also giving me amazing ideas like this. I really appreciate this one. It is such a simplistic little system to sort of separate your naughty thinking, your bad thinking, your downward and back thinking, as I've called it in previous videos, and your luxurious thinking, your good thinking, your positive thinking, because as transurfers we know that the attitude towards reality, right? The thoughts, the perspective that we have adopted highlights a sector of reality where more of what we have going in our minds increases exponentially in our external environment. There is an infinite amount of information and material and data and events and all sorts of variables that can play outside of us, and it's our thoughts that shine the spotlight on which sector of reality we are going to live in, right? That's why people that are negative thinkers oftentimes aren't saying, oh my God, you wouldn't believe this amazing thing that happened to me today, right? And those that are positive thinkers do, right? This is because these two different perspectives create two different results in your external environment. So I'm going to get into all that in a moment. Thank you again, Eric Jackson. And again, this is his idea and I'm just relaying it. Before I get started, remember to like this video and comment and subscribe and all that jazz. And join us on the Facebook group, International Transurfing Institute Facebook group. Reality 2.0 and Tufty 2.0 down below. Check out the links. There's a lot of details in those links. You get to see exactly what the courses are about and reviews. We have lots and lots and lots of stellar, amazing reviews. So check it out and follow me on Instagram, reality_transurfing. Okay, so Eric titled this The Thought Gallery, and it's really amazing because it's definitely in line with when Vadim Zeland talks about the person going into the art gallery. He's saying you don't go into an art gallery and start screaming and yelling about the art you don't like on the walls, right? So here it is presented to us in a framework that we can sort of acknowledge what our thinking is and how we can move over to a gallery that better suits us or our intentions once we have called out that we are thinking in a not so good direction, right? So what he proposed is this, that you have two galleries. You make an A+ gallery, right, which is the gallery that you want to spend your time in, and you view the lower nature thoughts as being part of the old gallery that you don't want to spend time in, right? So A+ thought gallery and old thought gallery. So old thought gallery first is, again, that downward and back thinking. So for those of you that have not yet seen that video, I would definitely check it out. I think it's titled Higher Self versus Lower Self. So I have this perspective that my higher self wants to look forward and up, right? Wants to look to what I can do, to my future, to what I want to accomplish, to what is working for me, right? all those actionable kind of thoughts that are going to spring me into the version of reality of creating and receiving the version of reality that I choose, right? Or taking the version of reality that I choose. The downward and back version thinking, the lower self version of me, is thinking about all the things that I don't like, what's not working, what happened in the past that was messed up, what is scary, what's limited, what I don't want. I don't know if I said that one already, but really what I don't want, what I do want, what I can do to make what I do want materialize, and focusing on what I don't want, it keeps me in this stagnant place of not obviously getting what I do want. So these are the two thought galleries. Old thought gallery, scary thoughts, thoughts about what is wrong, scarcity thinking, thoughts about what you don't want, right? A plus thought gallery, lovely thoughts, thoughts about what you want, luxurious thinking, thoughts about what is working. So go back and take a look at that video, Luxurious Thinking. I get really, really deep into it, and it's amazing, because once you realize that you can just completely luxuriate in positive thoughts, and then your external environment will respond to that with more luxuriousness. It's incredibly empowering. It's beyond empowering. And what Eric is presenting here is that you create a little system in your mind. So you have your A plus thought gallery, and then you have your old thought gallery. Whenever you call out that you are participating in any of those old sort of thought patterns that are not serving you, you remind yourself that you're now in the A plus thought gallery. Again, lovely thoughts, thoughts about what you want, luxurious thinking, and thoughts about what is working, where you're going, what you can do to get there, all that's good that's happening in your life, all the advantage that you can derive from your current set of circumstances. Absolutely not focusing on what's wrong, what you don't like, all that kind of stuff. So this is what I'm going to present to everyone that is still challenged by negative thinking. Oh, and by the way, the reason that I decided to do this is I read Eric's comment on this idea, and then immediately after, somebody asked me, how do you get rid of negative thinking? So I was like, okay, this is a signal from my world, right? We definitely need to address this. So for those of you that are still challenged by negative thoughts, by negative thinking, the first step before you can properly move over to the A plus thought gallery is you need to acknowledge what exact thoughts are not serving you or your intentions, right? And the reason that we sort of get lost into a script that doesn't serve us is we stop assessing that negative thinking, right? We don't, it's not even that we're not assessing it. We don't call it out or even acknowledge that it's present. It's automatic. It's habitual, right? And it's just part of the system. So in order to move over to the new system, first of all, you have to create the system. And then secondly, you have to acknowledge where it is that you don't want to be. So again, anytime you think to yourself, oh, I don't like how I'm thinking right now, or calling out, okay, that's a scary thought. No, now the new system is that I'm in the A plus thought gallery. But first, before you can do that, you have to wake up to those negative thoughts. So again, the negative thoughts, anything you don't want, anything that's not serving you, anything that's not working out, an insecure voice saying you can't have that, that's not for you, that's for other people, you'll never get that, it's too hard, you should just accept what it is that you have, I'm only worth this much, I'm not worth this much. Any kind of thought that does not suit you or your intention, does not serve you or your intention, it needs to go, right? It absolutely needs to go. You shouldn't entertain any sort of thoughts that bring any negativity to your layer of reality at all. So first stop is to call them out and to get used to calling them out. So what I would suggest is this: take a moment today and call out 5, 10, 15 thoughts that you've had in the last 24 hours that don't serve you or your intentions, and actually write them down, physically write them down. As soon as you write them down, now I'm not suggesting that you read them or keep them around, but actually acknowledge that you're having these thoughts. This is so unbelievably valuable. I did a video about a year back called the ultimate blockage exercise, and I go back and take a look at that video. It's pretty mind-blowing. It didn't get a lot of attention just because I think that it's a really challenging exercise that most people are not willing to do. But really what it's about is sitting down with yourself and acknowledging all the little parts of you, including negative thinking, that is holding you back. And you do a meditation on this that lasts like 2 or 3 days. It's pretty wild stuff. For those of you that are hardcore into this, that exercise that I did was the turning point for myself and my reality. This is where all of this stuff that I'm doing now absolutely took off. So, getting into really calling out what is not serving you first by writing it down and acknowledging that you're actually having those negative thoughts, and then start the process of correcting yourself anytime they pop up and saying, no, now I'm existing in the A+ gallery, right? I'm not in the old thought gallery anymore. So when you're in the A+ thought gallery, this is where reality really starts to look good. This is where reality really starts to kick off. Because again, you're highlighting the sector of reality that's in line with your thinking. I totally get where Eric is going here. And this is, again, this has been a pivotal moment in my transurfing practice, is acknowledging that downward and back thinking and switching myself over to that forward and up thinking. That downward and back thinking was like my poverty mentality, my, focusing on the fact that I'm not educated, right? I don't even have a college education, that I lacked tools to do things and life was always going to be a struggle and all that kind of stuff. And acknowledging when I get into those thought patterns and then redirecting. You don't even have to get rid, right? You simply have to redirect. Instead of thinking about what I don't like or what's not working, I think about what I do like and what is working. And just this simple shift of perspective propels me towards that version of reality that I actually want to experience. So super, super easy concept, you guys. Really amazing, very simplistic little system that you can dial into if you are in fact challenged by reoccurring habitual negative thoughts. Acknowledge what is in your old thought gallery. Create your new thought gallery. All the positive stuff, lovely thoughts, thoughts about what you want, luxurious thinking, thoughts about what is working, and call yourself out when you are in that old thought gallery and say, no, now I'm in the A+ thought gallery, right? It's as easy as that. I'm gonna put the links below to 2 videos, luxurious thinking and the ultimate blockage exercise, and check those out. If you are ready to truly do some mind-blowing self-development, I would definitely recommend doing that ultimate blockage exercise. It is lit. It is not for everyone. It is super intense, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. And you will see exactly how that's a really exaggerated version of this, right? That's exactly what it is. So let me know your thoughts on this video, everybody. Like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. And thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.